2 years ago, we bought the two best sports cars that we could find for under $60,000.
And when we wrapped that up, there was only one winner and we stuck with it.
The 2009 Nissan GTR and this 2017 F-Type SVR. One was a twin-turbo, all-wheel drive spaceship that could do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. And the other was a 200-mile-an-hour supercharged V8 that sounds angry literally all the time. Unfortunately, one of them had to go. And somehow, the F-Type actually won. Now here we are 2 years later and the GTR is gone, but the SVR is still here. But not for much longer. Between the two of us, we've owned over 100 cars, and honestly, we've realized it's never been about finding the perfect car. It's about experiencing as many great ones as possible. So today, we're here talking about the cars that might be crazy enough to replace this SVR.
Hello everyone and welcome to Performance on Wheels. My name is Todd, my son Austin and I, we really enjoy making videos on all sorts of different cars. We love making videos on some of the most amazing sports cars. We even like some affordable sedans and even some daily drivers that you can get without breaking the bank. What we've experienced is you guys enjoy our videos as well. You like them, you comment on them, there's a lot of fun engagement and we really enjoy that. But there's still 95% of you that are not hitting the subscribe button. So as we cram some gears into today's video, do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. Now this is the second F-Type that we have owned. The first one was a handful of years ago. It was actually during COVID and that was a 15R. That's the reason why we bought a second one ultimately, is we had such a great experience in that first one.
The price for performance has still yet to be matched on the entire used market. That is incredible. The capabilities that this car has for the price point that they're in, as well as the touch points of luxury on the interior and exterior. The build quality is top tier. It really is a fantastic car, but it struggles with a few things, and let's get into those.
I don't really know what he's talking about, because in my opinion, and the two F-Types that I've owned now, I really haven't had a lot of downside experiences. And just like every car, there are some fail points or there's some things to be mindful of. But the F-Types really do have a pretty solid reliability reputation, and that's what's cool about them. Have a stellar car that looks absolutely incredible. It has amazing performance. It really has amazing performance even regardless of the engine that you go with, even to make that point. Gas mileage is good, acceleration is insane, luxury is awesome. But if you want to go for a few negatives, which we're not going to get into all the details because we do have a buyer's guide up in the corner as well as a handful of videos just talking through our experiences, so we won't get into the nitty-gritty there because there's other stuff to watch on that. My 15 that I had a 15R. That was the only year you could get the rear-wheel drive, which that was an incredible experience. I had to replace some seals in the rear diff, got it done under CPO warranty, so that wasn't a big deal. Had a trim piece replaced. I did have an issue with the leather on top of the instrument cluster where it came loose, and I didn't actually resolve that. One of the seats was a little funny, and other than that, it was a rock solid car. I didn't have any issues. And with the 17 SVR that we're in currently, again, there has not been a lot. I had a seep, not even a leak or a drip on a front axle seal that was replaced under the third-party warranty I have. Both catalytic converters were replaced, and that's essentially the big reason why the new F-Types don't pop and bang like the older ones, because you blow out the cat. So there is that, but it's sure cool, and the SVR does make it even more fun with that little bit louder exhaust out back.
All right, maybe you are right. There are very few downsides with the F-Type. It's a fantastic bargain for the price point that they're at on the used market. And I think the SVR, the cream of the crop, is just one of the coolest cars ever made by this manufacturer. I mean, just an incredible vehicle, and they did such a good job putting this whole package together. But as time goes on, we like to experience new cars, and it's time that the F-Type SVR goes up for sale. So as of right now, as of this video going live, there is a listing active for this car for sale
And if you are interested, be sure to shoot us an email, performanceonwheels111@gmail.com. Really a beautiful car, but we got to come up with what we're going to do to replace this thing. But the real thing that we want to do with replacing the F-Type is continue to grow the channel, right? That is the goal. We enjoy these cars. We enjoy the father-son time that we have working on these cars. So I think something that we have both greatly enjoyed is our garage is now powered with these new nationwide lifts, which has given us the opportunity to start wrenching like we have never wrenched before on all types of different cars. So it makes us want to get something that we're a little bit more confident of tearing into a project on. We got the EXO last year, and that's a ton of fun. It's a crazy, crazy experience to drive out on the road. But we also have been building my C5 Corvette, and I just enjoy doing that together.
So I like to enjoy the car for a little bit. I like the experience. I like to learn about it. I like to tinker with it a little bit, and then down the road she goes. See you later. And that is why we're going to take the strategy, along with what Austin said, of not doing a like-for-like swap here with the F-Type. Ultimately, we'd like to get a couple cars, and we're not looking to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or just go all in just yet, maybe someday. But anyways, we just really think there's the opportunity to get a few cars, a couple cars, more than one car, whatever that number is, to replace the F-Type with. So the cars that I'm really interested in, that at least are intriguing, is, I'm going to say an oddball one really first here, because
all right, I'm excited to hear this.
A factory 5. Like buying a factory 5 that someone else has already completed. I really like the Roadsters. I'm not necessarily thinking like the Cobra replica, although that would be fun as well. There's been some really cool ones for sale right around 30 or 35 grand, built extremely well. We're talking 2,000 pounds, over 400 horsepower, close to 500. So a similar experience, just a different look to the EXO set is kind of how I think of that to a certain degree.
I think that is a fantastic idea, and I just have to bring this up, even though it's not going to be at all in the budget. I have always dreamed of owning a Factory 5 GTM at some point. So disappointed that they discontinued that kit, which the GTM is essentially the C5 Corvette, but flipped around. So you get the whole engine and everything just flipped backwards. So it's all mid-engine and everything. Just such a cool setup. Love that car.
So that could be a route if the right one crosses the path. There is the one that just very well could be in the garage, because we've really been enjoying the Corvettes just from a familiarity standpoint and the modification standpoint. And they're really just a lot of fun. They truly are. These older cars that have engagement that maybe you didn't appreciate until you started driving a bunch of new cars that don't have that same engagement. That's what a lot of people are after now. So a C6 Z06, or another oddball one that people are going to roll their eyes at that I've always wanted, is a C6 427. So a Z06 convertible that they only made for a year, if my memory is correct. Would love to have either one of those.
Yeah, both of those are incredible cars. And if you guys didn't know about the 427, that's such a unique vehicle, because GM specifically made a chassis only for that vehicle, and I think that's super cool. It still has all of the same Z06 components. It's made out of the same material that the Z06 chassis is made out of, but the C6 generation of C6 did not have a removable top like the C7 does, so they had to make an entirely new platform so the top could come off on the 427. It's a really cool story. It's a really unique car, and they're hard to come by.
I'm gonna get some hate for these two comments, but that's okay. Everyone's got their own opinion. Two cars I know I won't get, not interested in, driven them both, just not a huge fan of them, to be honest. I don't know if it's the powertrain, if it's just I can sense that I get sick of it really quick. The older GT500s and an older ZL1 Camaro. But there is a Camaro I would like and I'd be interested in if I find the right deal, and that's the Z28 that again has that 7-liter, same as the C6 Z06. I think that would be fun to have for a bit.
I would agree. Something about the LSA engine just in stock form and those big boaty cars just isn't all that to me. However, the Z28, when they completely redid the suspension, slammed the car down and pulled all the guts out of it to make it a pure road legal track car, that's an incredible vehicle that's pretty hard to come by, and those have been climbing up in value quite a bit here recently.
Quick squirrel moment, just so you know where my head would be at if I were to replace for a similar value car, high $50,000 range for at least this SVR. The range on them kind of goes from 50 to 90, just depending on year and miles, condition, things like that, for the SVR specifically. What I would replace my car with if I wanted the same value car would be a few. AMG GT, C7 Z06, maybe if you could find a bargain on a C6 ZR1, which we've seen a few out there, maybe a Vantage, and my list would pretty much be that, I think. I've experienced most of the cars in this price point, and that's what I'd go with there. So all the cars we mentioned prior to the little squirrel moment there, those are all cars that if you find a really good deal or a solid factory 5 like mentioned, $30,000 range, right? Those cars could creep up into the 40s, and really clean low miles are in the 50s as well. So I'm not afraid of miles, especially when it comes to a Corvette. Doesn't scare me, or either of us for that matter, at all.
They're easy to work on, they're easy to fix, and if it needs an engine, they're really not that expensive.
Yeah, so not scared of miles when it comes to that, so more of a price. The other thing that's really cool about all these cars that we kind of mentioned is the depreciation curve is essentially flatline. Like, the cars won't depreciate.
No.
At least that's what a lot of experts say. That's what my opinion is.
Just too big of a following, and the end of the manual transmission, rear-wheel drive V8 car, it's just, they're going to stay at the same price because that desire for that power plant is never going to go away, and they're not going to be produced anymore, other than the S650 Mustang, which just isn't the same driving experience.
So if I wanted to get another second car outside of like a factory 5 and a Z06, which that would be a pretty sweet combo, there are a few other ones that I might throw into the mix. Maybe I do want something I could drive in all 4 seasons. So I've never had like a little GTI hot hatch. So there's something about them, just haven't had the experience. I've driven them and they're fun, but if I could find like an R or an old R32, I think that would be kind of fun. Also just other hot hatches that have been out there, just for something to zip around in and mod and have a good time. I don't want to say like Focus ST, but I don't know, maybe something on those lines that would just be like you don't care about, but you could have a good time in. On those same lines, even Mustangs. Mustangs are super affordable at the end of the day.
Especially EcoBoosts. I mean, well under 10 grand at this point for a bunch of EcoBoosts now.
Like S550 Mustangs, like 14, 15 grand, V8s, EcoBoost, like they're all out there. And that's a really solid platform to enjoy, even out of the box, and you just mod it and everything gets better from there. So a Corvette and a Mustang, a Corvette and a factory 5, a factory 5 and R32, whatever the combo is, that's kind of where my head's at. What do you guys think?